You're set? Okay. Can we all rise for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to the April 13th meeting of the Town Board. Excuse our appearance, we weren't sure if there was going to be air conditioning tonight, so I told everyone they didn't have to wear a tie, but the Catholic school Catholic schoolboy had to wear his tie. I'm proud of you. Okay. All righty. Approval of minutes. Monthly meeting, March 2nd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Public hearing, March 2nd, 2023. Second one, sorry. One was the public hearing, one was the monthly meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Workshop meeting, March 15th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Workshop meeting of March 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Busy month.
Yep. Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Conservation Board is going to be a short report because they changed their meeting from the second Tuesday to the first Tuesday, and I wasn't on the email list, so I missed it. So I will get the minutes from that meeting and report back.
Perfect, thank you, Jason. Recreation.
Good evening, everyone. The Recreation Commission met on Tuesday, March 28th. I attended, and there was a commission discussion of all of the activity at Philipstown's Recreation Center. The spring programs are currently underway and will continue through May and June. Most programs are operating at full capacity, and we are also currently exploring some new programs for the fall of 2023. We were able to offer 2 successful events during the spring break, including a teen night and an Easter egg hunt for our younger children in the community. Our spring youth theater production of Peter Pan Jr. is coming up during the last weekend of April. Tickets for the shows will go on sale this Monday at 10 a.m. For our seniors, we have our spring senior luncheon scheduled for Wednesday, May 17th, along with a senior day trip to Resorts World Casino in the Catskills at the end of May. In addition, for the fall 2023, before and after care registration is happening, fall 2023 Learning Center preschool registration, and 2023 summer camp registration all kicked off during March. Registration for camp was quite smooth this year, and most weeks are already at full capacity, but we are already seeing movement, and wait list openings within certain weeks are available as families begin solidifying their travel plans. We've also worked on our numbers to expand enrollment for certain grades where demand is higher. We anticipate a very busy, successful summer this year at the Philipstown Rec Center. Lastly, Philipstown Park will reopen to the public on Saturday, April 22nd, the same day of our youth sports launch of spring co-ed soccer, Little Sluggers, and T-ball programs. Thank you to Cecily Hall, the director, for this report.
Thank you, Judy. My thanks to Cecily and the staff down there as well. The programs are full and
Quite busy.
seem to be running well. So thank you, Cecily, and all. Philipstown Hub.
The Philipstown Behavioral Health Hub submitted a report. Lori Segalis, thank you for your report. We're excited to announce that the Hub Virtual Marathon for Mental Health registration is now open. Join us in the month of May to walk, run, bike, or hike 26.2 miles and complete a full marathon to support mental health and addiction resources. Local business sponsorship options are also available. You can register at www.runsignup.com, race New York Cold Spring Hub Mental Health Marathon. The Hub is also engaged every Friday with the senior community conversations at 10:15 at the Philipstown Friendship Center, which runs programs for our seniors. And this program will run through June, through the end of June. One senior who participates in the group commented to the hub that they really want to thank everyone for coming every week and bringing them a lot of energy and a lot of discussion. Over 70 new seniors have attended programming since the program launched in January, and topics covered have included loneliness and isolation, connections and family relationships, storytelling, sharing joy and pride, and finding purpose. The hub metrics for March 2023, there were 316 participant contacts during the month of March, and the hub provided assistance. 2,877 participant contacts since the beginning of the fiscal year from last July through this March, and there are 43 open complex cases at the hub in March. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Planning Board.
The planning board was supposed to have the meeting on March 16th. Unfortunately, didn't have a quorum, so we had to move it out a week. So they had to move out the planning board meeting a week because we didn't have a quorum on the 16th. We moved it out to the 23rd. I attended that meeting. First thing on the agenda was a public hearing for a Stepping Stone, which is a daycare center up on 25 Blue Level Way. They've been expanding. Okay, I'll move over here. Hopefully this is better. Anyway, the daycare center has been expanded. They've been very busy over the last several years, so they're expanding. They want to increase their square footage to 1,820 square feet, an additional building they want to put in. During this public hearing, there was one concerned citizen who lives behind that area. He's not opposed to the daycare center expanding. He just liked some compromises, like, for example, some better screening, maybe a fence as opposed to just trees. His property abuts right where the playground is. So they're going to see what they can do to have a compromise between what he's requesting and what the applicant is doing. The public hearing was closed. That was the only person that came to the public hearing. In old business, Danes Lumber on 3622 Route 9, they've been in front of the planning board several months now. Everything was approved on this last planning board meeting, so they're moving forward with that project up there. I wish them the best of luck. Danes has been in business, one of the oldest businesses in the area. Unfortunately, it isn't in here in Cold Spring or Philipstown, but it is in Peekskill, but they're expanding their business here to Philipstown, and they do live in Philipstown. So I wish them the best with their. Next on the agenda was Bach the Veterinarian. They used to be over here in Yanatelli's by the liquor store. They're moving their veterinarian service up to their home in the garage. The board met there as a site visit. There was no really significant concerns during that site visit, so there will be a public hearing on April 20th. Garrison Golf Club and Shakespeare's Festival has been in front of the board now almost 2 years. Expected actions, the DEIS was not, the planning board considered it not complete at this particular time. So right after that meeting, the very next day, they sent in a new EDIS completion. So hopefully this month's meeting coming up, the board will consider it completed. Hudson Highland Reserve, they were on the board as well. On the agenda, they have an application before them, which we already approved, to change the slope in the road from a 10% grade to a 12% grade, and we passed that resolution for them as well. So they're going to have a public hearing on that April 20th as well. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Zoning, Megan is not here this evening. Highway.
Okay, highway. I got the highway here someplace. Okay, I got it. Philipstown Planning, Adam Hoteling, work performed in Philipstown Highway Department for the month of March. Yes, it's true. We finally moved into our new offices in our new garage and office space. As you know, the garage has been occupied for several months, but we did finally move the staff from our office into the space this past few weeks ago. Everything went well, and a special thanks to Maureen Enna for all her effort in getting that work done. Before below average snow this season, we got our first nor'easter. The storm, it extremely impacted the storm. It brought heavy, wet snow that caused multiple trees down and wires and several roads to be closed until such and Hudson could clear the wires. There were big differences in snowfall amounts depending on where you lived and where you're located. The crews kept the road on top of the roads and kept up to continue into the very next week. Equipment maintenance and repair was a vital part of our mission during the snowstorms. Mechanics worked to repair several trucks, plows during the past storm. allowing the trucks to get back out on the road and clear the road safely. Early in the month, the crews are out cleaning pipes, waterways, filling potholes, and putting down dry patch, all normal for this type of year. Additional brush along the sides of the roads have been being chipped and cleared up. The Highway Department has received 25 phone calls and emails regarding the concerns about the roads during the month of March. Highway Department has spent $14,000 on vehicle maintenance for the month of March. Submitted by Adam Hoteling, Highway Superintendent.
All right, thank you, Bob. Building and land? Well, yeah, we'll do the questions later. But what is it? Go ahead, it's fine. What would you like?
Was that just a report about the highway committee?
The Highway Department, yeah. the
Yes.
highway-
Whatever?
Yeah.
What agency is responsible for setting speed limits, putting up signage, and enforcing speed limits on town and county roads?
Well, the town would be responsible for town roads, and the county would be responsible for county roads.
Okay,
And the enforcement would be our Sheriff's Department.
Right.
okay. So if a citizen has a concern about that, address it to you if it's the town,
Right.
and address it to the legislature in Putnam.
Putnam, if it's a
Carmel.
county road.
What road were you concerned about, ma'am? Was there a specific?
Well, you know, when I drive around here, I'm concerned about a lot of roads. I mean, first of all, I know the state roads like 9D, which we all know is a mess. I read in the paper recently that Nelsonville was denied an appeal to lower the speed limit on 301.
Right.
301, there should be no part of 301 between here and Carmel that has a 55-mile speed limit. It's absurd.
Right, we've applied several times to lower the speed limit on Route 9 and 9D, and were rejected also by New York
So
State.
who decides that? That's the state.
New York State DOT, yes.
So if you're concerned about it, you ask your state legislators to try to do something about it?
You could,
You
yeah,
can.
absolutely.
Assembly
Yeah,
member
yeah.
David Levin.
And East Mountain Road South, I know that there's no posted speed, well, at the very
Yeah,
end.
30 miles an hour.
I
Yep.
know it's a town speed limit of 30.
Mhm.
People are driving 50 miles an
Yes,
hour
they are.
along there, and there's no enforcement. There's no signage, you know, to emphasize that it should be
Right.
30, so.
Okay.
Well, there is a 30
That's my question.
Right, there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign when you first get on East Mountain Road South. They're not gonna put signs all along, at the beginning, that is correct. You know, when you mentioned enforcement, I live off of that road myself, and a couple weeks ago, I did see a sheriff up there, stopped on the side of the road looking for speeders, and that's the first time
And
I've seen that in quite some time.
I can tell you from experience, we've had other residents come in and ask us to enforce speed limits on certain roads, and the people that get the tickets are the ones that live on the road. And then they complain, hey, why did we get a ticket? Well, you were speeding, obviously. So it's often the case that it's the residents that end up getting the speeding ticket. But they don't,
I understand it's the residents, I'm not, who else is it? I mean, I know some people are cutting through to Fishkill, I know that, but
Right.
of course it's the residents up there.
yeah, I live on the bottom of East Mountain, and I see it as bad as anybody.
Yes, I know where your house is,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you must see them zooming, because that's a very good place for speeding in front of your house.
Yes, right there. I can hear them.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
That's
that's
okay.
okay.
We'll keep going now.
Yeah, I've seen an accident on that
You
one.
have some cameras up there or something. I'll put it in writing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Building and land acquisition, I have nothing. We have the highway garage is complete, as we'd said, so.
The
we
trailer's still up there, though, right?
Still got some site work. I saw Central Hudson up there tonight.
they
I
were here
think,
tonight.
I
Yes,
think
I
they're
saw
pulling the wires out of the trailer, but we'll see what happens. Cemetery Committee is also Megan, and the Putnam County Legislator was unavailable this evening, so let's get right into the agenda. It's all you, Tara.
Okay. First is a resolution in opposition to the discharge of contaminated water into the Hudson River, and this is a roll call vote.
Okay, before we do that, Paula, would you like to get up and give us, our resident Paul Leclerc is going to give us a description of the potential release at Indian Point. Thank you. Yeah, you have to get up to them.
Please go to the microphone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you know, I requested tonight to speak to oppose the proposed dumping of 1 million gallons of radioactive water into the Hudson River. Holtec, the current owner and decommissioning company for Indian Point, has stated its intention to release this radioactive material into our river. And it should be noted that releasing the material into our river is not the only alternative for disposal, but it is the cheapest. And Holtec gets to keep whatever is left in the decommissioning fund, so it's in their interest to do things as cheaply as possible. Councilman Flaherty had asked me what the other alternatives were before the meeting, and I had mentioned one alternative is to truck it to a disposal facility. I think it's in New Mexico. I don't know for sure exactly. And that's expensive, of course.
That'd be a
And
lot
it's
of
also somewhat dangerous because you're
lot of
trucking stuff, radioactive material across the country. And another alternative is to keep it on site, but then you have to monitor it, and I believe that there would be some expense in doing that. So anyway, so they want to dump it into our river. I'm requesting that Philipstown prepare and disseminate a resolution opposing this action. And I wanted to mention to you that Westchester County, Rockland County, and Putnam County have all issued resolutions opposing the dumping of the radioactive material, as have a number of towns in Westchester, and more are coming in because people are pretty upset about this because it's a lot of radioactivity into our river. And Holtec says they're going to filter the material to filter out the radioactive isotopes. However, the radioactive material in this water includes tritium, and tritium when it's combined with oxygen creates tritiated water, and tritiated water is chemically almost indistinguishable from water, so it can't be filtered out. You can't filter out the tritium, and tritium is a carcinogen. That's a problem. It's a problem for people who are boating, swimming, and fishing in the Hudson River, and it also can leach into soil and wells because it leaches into the surrounding area. So I just got an email, and Holtec had originally said they were going to do this dumping in August, but then they applied. They gave a 30-day notice on April 4th that they would be doing dumping of some of the material. By May 4th or 5th, or we don't know. It's no earlier than May 4th. So in May. I just got an email that they decided to wait. I can't.
What was the reasoning that they tried to get it out before people were really on board? I mean, what was the change? Why was
Why they didn't? Well, what they said is they wanted to clean the boron in the. That brings me to my next point. Holtec is also decommissioning the Pilgrim facility in Massachusetts, and Cape Cod Bay, right, exactly. And they stated it's their intention to dump 1.1 million gallons of radioactive water, same as ours, into Cape Cod Bay. And people were up in arms.
Sure.
And and their senators had gotten involved, and so did the EPA. The EPA told them that under their current permit, they could not do that legally, and that they would be subject to fines, prison, or both if they did that. So they retreated, and Massachusetts is doing an independent study the hazards, the health hazards of this material that would occur in their waters. And so Holtec said they would wait until the results of their study to do the dumping in Cape Cod. And I had thought, well, shouldn't that be the same for us?
Right.
Because it's the same kind of
Similar situation.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I had reached out to EPA and also to other organizations like Riverkeeper and Food and Water Watch to try to advocate for their delaying the dumping until the end of the study. I haven't heard anything yet as to what the results of that are, but I have been told that our permit is not as strong as the permit in Cape Cod Bay, so I don't know if legally they can be held to the same standards as Cape Cod Bay, but that remains to be seen. I just got an email saying that they're, I told you that
Right.
they're delaying, I didn't even get a chance to read the whole,
Right.
apparently they sent a
Well,
letter.
that's good news.
Yeah, that's
Right.
good. Anyway, so, let me see. In any case, the resolutions that are drafted will have an influence on our decision makers. And the more resolutions that we have drafted and sent, the better off that that will be in case we don't qualify for the same exemption as Cape Cod Bay.
We did, Dana Levenberg hosted a meeting at the Fish Library, must have been a month ago, and this topic came up, and I know she's a signatory on this bill
Right,
to prevent it.
right.
So my hat goes off to her, as well as Pete Hartman for sponsoring the bill to get to get them to stop. Well, hopefully it's successful.
Yeah, but I mean, if they were going to do it by May, that's just,
Right.
that didn't give
right.
us much time.
Right.
But anyway, so I'm hoping that you will promptly, issue a resolution. I gave you the Rockland County resolution just so you could see what they did. There is.
We have one ready.
Yeah. I know you did. Yeah.
We're all set.
But I didn't know if you'd have a hard copy, so I.
We're all set, ready to go.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Oh, you have a resolution ready
We
to go?
do.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
do.
great.
We're prepared, ready to go.
Okay. All right. So then, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Okay. So Steve, I got to read through this, correct, if we're going to?
There's two alternatives. One, you can read through it. Two, you could have the board move to waive the reading, and then you would just pick up at the now, therefore be it resolved. But if you want to read it into the record, it's
Sure, I guess we can do it.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah,
can
why
read it.
don't you go
I
through
can
it?
read it.
Yep, I read it earlier. if you
This is a resolution in opposition to the discharge of contaminated water into the Hudson River. Whereas the Hudson River is one of the most important aquatic resources and ecosystems in the United States and indeed in the world, and whereas the Hudson River is an estuary that flows from south to north as well as from north to south, and whereas the Hudson River also serves as a resource for tourism and recreational activities and represents an important regional and state economic resource, and whereas the Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant is situated on the banks of the Hudson River, and whereas the company decommissioning Indian Point has announced its intention to release water from on-site radioactive fuel waste pools into the Hudson River, and whereas to date there has been no specific reporting of the radionuclide contents of this water, which is heavily contaminated from the storage of the nuclear fuel waste, and whereas a pre-release filtration to remove these isotopes has been presented as a solution to reduce the content of these carcinogenic contaminants to a level as low as reasonably achievable, and whereas the National Academy of Sciences has indicated that there is no verifiable safe level of these isotopes when they are ingested or inhaled, and whereas such pre-release treatment would not remove tritium, also carcinogenic from the water, and whereas any contaminants in the Hudson present the risk of entering the food chain, and whereas, moreover, there are 7 communities upriver who source their drinking water from the Hudson, and whereas environmental damage to the Hudson River will inflict significant harm on all the communities situated on and along the river and beyond. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows: that the town of Philipstown in Putnam County, New York, strongly opposes the plan to release over 1 million gallons of contaminated water from the Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant site into the Hudson River, and that the town of Philipstown calls on New York State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins and New York State Assembly Speaker Carl E. Hastie and their legislative colleagues to immediately adopt legislation proposed by Senator Pete Harcum and Assemblymember Dana Levenberg, S5181/A5338, which would ban release of radioactive waste into the Hudson River immediately, and that the town of Philipstown calls on Holtec International's Board of Directors, which advises the company's CEO on major policy matters and serves as the supreme watchdog of corporate governance, including President and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Chris Singh, Stuart Crooks, Jose A. Gago, Dr. Eduardo D. Glant, James H. Miller, Dominique Minier, George Norcross, Michael J. Pasilio, Jim Saxton, and Martha J. Singh to advise Holtec to suspend their plans to release radioactive waste into the Hudson River, and that a certified copy of this resolution shall be sent to the New York State Senate Majority Leader, the New York State Assembly Speaker, and the Board of Directors of Holtec International.
Okay, thank you so much, Karen. Could I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Cotter's absent. Councilman Flaherty.
Aye, but I just like to have a few things. I'm definitely against this, but my concern is if the EPA really should be stepping in here and not allowing this whatsoever. That's my concern, which I just wish we had a little bit more information on this. It's not a good thing, obviously,
And
okay?
obviously, it'll buy us some
You know,
time if they prevent it.
And, another thing that can a little concern me, nuclear, they've been operating there for 60 years, and they've been discharging this water for 60 years as well. So it's not like it's nothing new.
Well, it is new. No, this is something different.
Basically the same water that they've been using over the time, again. But again, I'm against this, but I just want to say, there's a few things that I'm just not 100% sure about, that I'd like to have a little bit more information, that's all. So, yes, I'm for this.
Councilman Angel.
I am going to vote aye, and I would just add that there's a group, United for Clean Energy, that's been hosting that has a lot of good information, Bob, on some of this. I've been looking at them. And then I guess the only other thing, I think we're all in agreement. I mean, there's been so much time and effort and money and activism spent in cleaning up the Hudson River as a Superfund site, and we should not, and people are starting to swim in it again, they're starting to fish in it again, life is returning to it, and there's no way we should start dumping in it again. So strongly in favor of it, and I just want to add that on May 6th, I think the town of Cortland is sponsoring I wouldn't call it a protest, but an event against the discharge, and they're asking for other local towns and villages to co-sponsor. I don't know if that's something the town would consider.
You did mention that. I just don't know if it's our part to sponsor that. I would certainly support it, and I would attend if they want us to attend. But I think they're the host community of the plant itself, and I think it would be their responsibility to host it. Again, I support waiting, or at least finding out where, and how to get rid of this water. Obviously, trucking it would have a huge impact on the environment as well. But, you think of the amount of trucks it would take to haul 1 million gallons of water out of here, and the amount of pollution and truck traffic. I mean, that's a lot of water.
If an accident tanker broke on the road and all that, get water and one tanker spilled someplace, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider.
There's got to be, there has to be a safe way to cleanse it and then get rid of the byproducts and then let the water safely be released back into the Hudson. My understanding of this water versus the water that's been used, and I'm not a nuclear scientist, or I would never claim to be, but the water that they were using currently to cool the plant never interacted with the radioactive material. This water is the water, the pool where the spent rods were stored. So this water has been contained for years on site. So, and I believe it's in what was Unit 1, which was the first facility built. So this is in a containment pool. That's a lot of water. You think 1 million gallons of water is a large amount of water. So I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but it's not dumping in the Hudson River. As Jason said, I mean, even in my lifetime, you can see the difference in the Hudson River.
yeah.
It used to be so dirty when we were kids, and, you know, we used to do stuff in that river, like water ski, and it was probably not even safe. It's beautiful now, and like you said, why would we go backwards and start dumping something that could be harmful to the river back into the river, so. Okay, so you're no voting aye, I'm sorry, and Judy, Councilwoman.
Yes, I am also going to vote aye, and I would just like to say, as everyone has said, for decades, Clearwater, Riverkeeper, and all of us in the community have been fighting to keep the Hudson River clean and to keep our children and ourselves healthy, and I don't think that this would be in keeping with the spirit of all of those who've gone before us and everyone now who is working hard to keep the river clean and healthy. And so I am totally opposed to this action. I think we can find alternatives. If there's not enough money in the Holtec funds, then we have to ask our senators, including Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, and all of our elected officials to step up and make sure we have a better plan.
Okay, and I vote aye as well, so there's our resolution going to the state. Thank you, Paul.
Next is a resolution approving change order CBS-C03, a credit return of unused allowance for CB Strain in relation to the new highway garage in the amount of $20,000.
Beat that?
Yeah, we'll always take money if we're, there were 20,000. This was a retainer that was held just in case there was an overage, and there was not. So we're getting, well, we're not getting money back, but we're not paying them the 20,000 towards the contract. So can I get a motion to accept this credit return of unused allowance?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Next is a resolution approving the purchase of a new EKOS Fueling System software and associated equipment for the Highway Department in the amount of $6,407 for the first year and $2,072 annually, and authorize Supervisor Van Tassel to sign the EKOS software license agreement.
Okay, so I met with the Highway Clerk Maureen Etta, as well as Highway Superintendent Adam Hoteling, to go over this system. What this does is, it tracks the fuel. It tracks the fuel, which vehicles are using it. They have a fob, they go out, they get their gas or diesel in it, and it's registered to each vehicle. We also provide fuel for the Sheriff's Department, which we get reimbursed for, but this is part of the system that allows us to keep track of who's using what fuel. So,
I know a few months ago, we discussed about possibly having the village use our fuel
they're
system.
still in the process. The village approached us and asked if they could get onto our fuel system. I spoke with Adam. There was a concern about capacity, but he thinks that we have the capacity to handle it. I put it back onto the village. You come up with an MOU and we'll have our attorney review it. So we have not seen anything yet, but I know they're planning on,
Yeah, 'cause theirs is,
they're going to abandon their
they
system.
have to, right? Theirs
Yeah,
is
I'm not
basically-
sure about
Yeah, I'm
the-
just curious if anything
Yeah,
became.
but they will be at some point. We do the Office for the Aging equipment, we do the Sheriff's Department, and we do our own vehicles. So, the Sheriff's Department hasn't been using much, though.
Oh, no?
There was, the last one I saw was a small amount, so I don't know if they're getting fuel elsewhere or what's going on, but, okay. So can I get a motion to approve the new fueling system for the Highway Department?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Next is a resolution appointing Kelly Pologe as part-time Assistant Court Clerk effective April 17th, 2023.
So, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. Pologe, we think it is? Kelly?
Pologe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask.
So she was interviewed by the two justices and the court clerk, and they've elected to hire Kelly as a part-time person. So can I get a motion to accept or appoint Kelly Pologe as a part-time Assistant Justice Court Clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Welcome aboard, Kelly.
Next is a resolution appointing Joseph Burden to the Philipstown Planning Board for a 4-year term expiring on March 31st, 2027.
And Joe, you made it here. Thank you. So, first of all, I'd like to thank the community. When we advertised for a planning board position, and we had 7 applicants who were all amazing, and my thanks go out to them. Any one of them could have taken the position and served the town very well. Joe, you rose to the top on this one. So we actually interviewed Joe for the Conservation Board as well, and we kind of had you picked out, hopefully, for this. But again, we had such great candidates. It was really tough to pick you. So thank you. Welcome aboard, and we'll make it official. And you're going to, Tara, hook him up with Cheryl so we can get him. We need you to get you right in there. Hit the ground running. They actually had to cancel a meeting because they didn't have a quorum. So I'm sure they'll be happy to get you on board. So
And I think he's got to get set up as with Susan too, Kenny, for getting paid and all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, she'll reach out.
all right. So can I get a motion to appoint Joe Burden for the planning board for a 4-year term
I mean, a sentence.
expiring March 31, 2027. Can I get a
moved.
second?
Second, thank you.
Yes, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you, Joe.
Next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Van Tassel to sign the Putnam County Real Property Tax Service Contract for 2023.
This is something we do each year. It's to work with the county on the tax rolls and tax collection. So could I get a motion to authorize me to sign the Putnam County Real Property Tax Service Contract for 2023?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Next is a resolution authorizing the donation of $300 to the Nelsonville Fish and Fur Club for this year's annual Kids Fishing Derby scheduled for May 7th, 2023.
It's a great event that happens every year at the Cold Spring Reservoir on Fishkill Road. I'm happy to sponsor this again this year. Could I get a motion for $300 to the Nelsonville Fish and Fur Club for the annual fishing derby?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in
My daughter
favor?
Actually, when she was little, used to fish at this. It's a great event.
Mike is there every year too, so
My two ended up in the water at least 3 times.
it's a nice, good event.
Thank you. It's a beautiful event.
Next on the agenda is to schedule any workshops or meetings. We have our regular meeting scheduled for May 4th, and then we have the workshop request that we had canceled in March with Max Garfinkel, the Natural Resource Officer. I know I put 2 dates on there, but I did find out today that he would prefer April 26th, if that's okay with you guys.
Let's get that.
7:30.
Go with that. Yep.
I've got a conflict on the 26th, but I think is that okay?
Well, can you change it?
I don't think I can.
One thing I would like to announce is we're going to do that on the 26th. We're all set with that. On May 8th, the town and the 2 villages will be hosting an informational session on the Highland Fjord Trail. So it will be at the Haldane Auditorium. It will be recorded. Seal, we got you on board for that night? All right. So it will be recorded, so you could watch it or stay at home and watch it. But I encourage people to come out. I encourage people to submit questions. There's an online questionnaire which our very own Jason has developed and circulated. So I'm very happy to have Jason the ability to get this stuff out. It was amazing. I encourage people to submit their questions, to attend that night. This is not a town program that, the Highland Fjord Trail is not a town program. It is a independent group along with New York State that are developing the trail. They will both be there to answer anybody's questions. If you have questions for them about the trail and funding, location, design, that will be the night to come and answer the questions. It's not our job to defend them. It's not our job to answer questions for them. So that's why we are having them come that evening. The meeting was, the layout and the procedure of the meeting was established by myself as well as the 2 mayors. with Jason and a member of the village board's assistance. So it was selected by us. We have requested that people submit the questions. We will get the questions out to New York State and Highland Fjord Trail. The purpose of this meeting is to circulate information, and the best way to get information is for the questions to be provided to these agencies ahead of time so the answers can be available that night. It will be well monitored. It will be, it's an emotional event. There's a lot of people that are going to be emotional about it. We will keep it under control. I have no doubt that our community can be respectful and open, sit and listen, ask questions, and have answers provided. So that will be on May 8th at 7. I don't know if we're 7 or 7. 7. Jason, would you like to add anything?
No, I think that's great.
Help? Anybody
The
have any?
flyers on the website, the town website?
There's a link to the flyer on the website. There's a flyer on our bulletin board. There's one hanging in our front window, and I sent it to everyone on the e-blast list.
And I think they're having posters printed. Right?
I think so, and I know that,
Posters, flyers.
I know that the village posted it on their Facebook and their Instagram. It's out there.
It's out there.
So
Yeah,
this-
it's out there.
This is the opportunity to get the facts from the people that are in control of this process. So this is our opportunity, public's opportunity to get not Facebook facts, this is to get real facts from the people that are doing it. This is a joint operation from New York State Parks, along with, the private group, Highland Fjord Trail. So,
It's been around for almost 20 years now, right?
right, this originated before I was on the town board, which was in 2010. There was talk of this at that point. It's obviously developed into, some people think it's a problem, some people think it's a solution to a problem. So it's all open for debate, but it is going, it started.
Yeah, no,
The
it's-
process has started,
Not
so
just started.
the information is available, yes.
I just want to say, we're not guaranteed it's live because there's Wi-Fi in there, so I just wanted to.
Okay, but it will be recorded, and if you, right. It has been going on a long time, so, and it has evolved over the years. So I'm encouraging people to go out and ask questions. This is the time and the place, so. Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank you for, all of you for sponsoring such a meeting. And I want to thank Jason for organizing the questions submission in such a beautiful Jason-like way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. So, do we have anything else? Any other? What, yes, go.
Next on the agenda is the Code Enforcement Monthly Report.
Any other
Oh, no.
meetings? Nothing, right?
Nope, that's it for meetings, unless,
No, we're good.
so next is the Code Enforcement Monthly Report. This is for March 2023. Total fees collected, $65,964. There were 35 total permits issued, 2 new 1 or 2 family dwellings, 1 new commercial or industrial building, 6 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings, 29 all other permits, and 27 certificates of occupancy were issued.
Thank you, Greg. What a great month for the building department. Fantastic. And thank Greg for doing a great job, as always. I appreciate it. And the whole crew in the building department. Okay.
Next is any other business that may come before the town board.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. Matthew Gingulis is winning the Putnam County Youth Award this evening, and I really wanted to attend the ceremony in Carmel, but we're meeting here tonight, so I would like to do a proclamation for Matthew and invite his family in. It's exciting. He's a great kid, if you know him. He does everything for the community, so I'd like to recognize him next month. And congratulations, Matthew, this month for receiving the Putnam County Award. Couple other things. The dock at Quarry Pond, I don't know if anybody's a Quarry Pond resident here, but the dock rotted and broke away and set sail up on the park. So Cecily Hall had contacted me. It is a town park. So we did retrieve it. The dock is still in decent shape, but the ramp that goes down to it, the bottom, one end floats, the other end is on the concrete. The floating end of it has decayed, and that's why it ripped off of the dock and sank. So Adam brought it up, I went and looked at it, I don't feel that it's repairable. Cecily's crew is looking into some alternative replacements, hopefully like an aluminum. The
Yeah,
one that
that's
was there is not, I mean, there's one railing on one side, there was no railing on the other side, and if we were to put it back, I'd feel that we'd be liable for a risk of injury. So she's going to look into something that's manufactured that could go out, and will, I have received a few calls from residents, you know, they want to get out there and get back on the dock and fish. It's unfortunate timing, it's the springtime and people want to be fishing, but you can fish from the shore. Yeah, there is a shoreline all the way around, but we are working to get the dock repaired. And my thanks to Adam, they went up that afternoon and took it out and brought it. It is at the Highway Garage if anybody wants to look at it. I am going to a meeting tomorrow that's been called by the Putnam County Sheriff's Office in reference to traffic issues on 9D in the Breakneck area. So I'm meeting there with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. I'm not sure who else is there, but I know Mayor Foley's going, as well as Officer in Charge Larry Burke. So I believe State Police is involved, Parks Police, so there will be some information coming out of that. So that's tomorrow at 11. So, and I think that's all I had.
Is that the first meeting you're going to about traffic on 9D?
No. Just the latest, but we'll be tomorrow. So, and I'll report back as to, you know, what the plan is. So that's all I have. Anything else? Anybody on the board?
Yeah, can I make just an Earth Day announcement of
Absolutely.
things going around the community? So, as we know, April is Earth Day, April 22nd. There is a lot, which is not surprising, happening around Philipstown and Cold Spring. Earth Day is kind of a celebration of climate action and community climate action. So I just wanted to quickly kind of read. So for those watching, they know what's happening around town. Hopefully they'll join one. On Saturday, April 22nd, Earth Day, the Climate Smart Task Force, the Philipstown Climate Smart Task Force, is extending the pollinator garden in front of Town Hall. They're looking for any volunteers willing to do some planting from 10 to 3 p.m. At St. Mary's Church, from 11 to 7 p.m., there's an Earth Day pop-up thrift sale of clothing and accessories for ages 7+. It's a way to kind of reduce the need for new clothing, thrown out clothing. There'll be a mending station there. People interested can email darsnowden88@gmail.com. On Saturday, it's a packed Saturday. Little Stony Point Association from 10 to 1 is having their Earth Day fair and cleanup. There will be speakers. There will be voluntary cleanup of the beach and trails, the Haldane 4th grade students, and East Mountain Studio music, food, snacks, drinks. Lots of fun. I think they've gotten the trolley to run back and forth from the village. The Cold Spring Chamber of Commerce on Saturday from 11 to 6 is presenting the second annual Cold Spring in Bloom on Main Street. And that is just kind of a celebration of the blossoming of spring. People have been mulching. And then finally, there is an Earth Day fair at the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival that's been organized by Philipstown's Climate Smart Task Force, other community organizations. And so the Cold Spring Farmers Market on Earth Day is going to be held at the Hudson Valley Shakespeare grounds for that day from 10 to 1 p.m. It'll be an Earth Day fair. So you'll have the farmers market, you'll have the Philipstown Trails Committee organizing hikes around their grounds, you'll have a repair cafe, you'll have students from Haldane, people talking about solar, people talking about electric leaf blowers, everything, a lending library from Butterfield Library, lots of stuff. And of course, a food scrap recycling, the town's food scrap recycling table will be educating people and enrolling more registrants. That was it. Sorry, a lot going on Earth Day.
We got one other item there. We give back
The
mulch that
compost.
day, compost up at the recycling center that day. We're gonna get a few yards there, and people who were part of the food scrap program are allowed to go up and get a 6-gallon bucket full of mulch.
This is the byproduct.
Yes, the byproduct of all this. So,
Beautiful.
and first come, first serve. And next week, if there's still any left, it's open to whoever wants it.
Beautiful, thank you. I do have one more meeting request. From Garrison Ambulance would like to have a workshop with us to discuss the possibility of forming an ambulance district with the for the Garrison ambulance. So their availability is April 19th, April 26th, which we already gave to,
For how long I think
If
Naps
you
is
want
gonna
it-
be.
that's
If-
going to be a full night.
If you
Think
want to
so?
do the
Max will
19th,
be?
that's fine. Just note, we can't start till 8 o'clock because youth court's in here.
The 19th?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Which is
why don't
fine.
we figure April 19th?
19th?
At
Yep.
8 p.m.?
If you, I don't know, was that requested via email? Can you just send me
I'll
whoever
forward
the
it to you.
contact
I'll let you
was?
handle the whole thing.
Yeah,
Because they
that's
have an
fine.
attorney involved that they want to bring
Okay.
and make a presentation.
So should we have an
Steve, do you
attorney
think you should be
there?
present for that as well?
What's happening exactly?
Garrison Ambulance is approaching the town. Bobby and I did meet with them separately about forming an ambulance district instead of operating the way they are currently for the Garrison response area. They have an attorney that would like to speak with us about the formation of the district, and their organization is in favor of forming an ambulance district as well.
Well, I can't be with you on the 19th, but I got to tell you, it sounds like if you just listen and you don't do a lot of talking, it should be just
Fire
fine.
department too, it was a
Yeah.
similar situation.
I mean, I know all about forming ambulance districts, so, you know, find out what they have to say. I'll be happy to speak with the board about whatever they propose.
All right. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Their attorney is going to come via Zoom, so we're going to need to establish that as well. Seal, can we? I mean, it's a workshop. It's not a full meeting, but it is. It was like 10% the cost. If he had to travel here, it was expensive. It was way cheaper. So we
You
should.
see someone with a laptop.
Yeah,
and a
we
Zoom
need to
on site,
facilitate
and then
that.
we can record it.
Yeah. Seal, does that sound like something you could?
That's the 26th.
April
No, this is
19th?
the 19th. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll give you Derek's information tomorrow, and you can reach out to him. So-
Can I say one thing, John?
Of course you can.
This is National Volunteer Month, and I would just like to thank, on behalf of the board, all the volunteers that help our town
Absolutely.
carry out all of the activities, all the boards, and all of the Earth Day activities, and even at our rec center throughout Philipstown, we have wonderful volunteers, so thank you.
Just like with the planning board, we make a request and people step up. We have a great town. It's amazing to live here, so I'm happy to be part of it. All right, is that it? We have anything else? Call on the audience. Does anybody in the audience have anything? No? Crowded house tonight, packed out.
There are no vacancies.
No
Oh,
vacancies.
That's great.
Not anymore.
Okay, approval of vouchers, general.
So moved,
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Highway,
so moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Park District,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Water District,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you.